Here is the world's news in pictures, and this is Pathe Gazette screening it. The year is 1942, and Paris is in chains. This amazing document was filmed with infinite daring by our newsreel cameraman Gaston Madrou. To fool the Gestapo, he concealed his camera inside a basket carried in front of his bicycle and covered it carefully with empty wine and cognac bottles. He would mix with thousands of Parisian cyclists, ready to capture these pictures which draw aside the curtain that hid Paris in the days of its German occupation. A slight tug on a hidden cord as he cycled around Paris, and his automatic camera recorded the amazing sights and scenes we are screening today. In the boulevards are offices of the Todt organization, which runs the slave labor camps in Germany, and a cinema proclaiming itself for German soldiers only. And always for the hungry Parisians, there are the bread queues. Imagine yourself at the famous Longchamp races beside Gaston Madrou with his hidden camera. When he no longer had his bicycle as cover, he invented other daring ways of getting pictures like this. Note the stiff correctness of German officers among the fashionable throng in the paddock. The notorious collaborator de Brignon, French ambassador, attends a German ceremony at the Invalides Palace in 1943. Also present among the German and French officers were the equally notorious fascist Marcel Deya and the Comte de Chambrun, Laval's son-in-law, now reported under arrest. Here are some of the wounded and repatriated prisoners of war whom the Nazis exchanged for workers pressed into German industry. A pitifully small proportion of those still held in the Reich as hostages and slaves. Meager details are available to accompany many of these pictures. This is believed to be the City Hall, where the first ceremony of the so-called French Third Republic is being held. The brazen swastikas show just how French that republic was. The hated Laval, returning from Germany after getting orders from his Nazi bosses, arrives at the Gare du Nord with the German minister. Many times has Laval been likened to a rat or a toad. Both are equally applicable. From a man of shame to a symbol of shame, the Germans with true Nazi effrontery parade at the tomb of France's unknown warrior at the Arc de Triomphe. This was in 1942, when the Germans were still feeling pretty sure of themselves. But this final indignity is too much for the ordinary Parisians, and disturbances break out. At other ceremonies, Laval militiamen and similar units modeled on Hitler's Gestapo are to be seen. The pro-Nazi clique in Paris cling closely to their masters. Another sample of Madrou daring. Remember the highly destructive RAF raid on the Renault works in March 1942? He takes us right into the blazing factories. Here's Madrou still recording history in his own ingenious way. But now it is the Paris of 1944, and the German troops he is trailing are on the move. Signposts in German appear, to Cherbourg and the Normandy front. It's the beginning of the great exodus forced upon the Boche by Allied successes. And as the liberating troops draw nearer, the speed of that exodus increases every hour. resistance movement of Paris comes out into the open. Posters appear, signed Paris Committee of Liberation. And soon from their hiding places, long treasured flags appear in the streets. Where Madru leaves off, other newsreel cameras take up the thread. Though we have witnessed similar scenes in earlier editions of our newsreel, Paris's hours of liberation demand a place in this story. These pictures are history, and we know we are satisfying a public demand in showing them. The Nazis have one more sting left, and street fighting flares up. The comparatively short-lived term of street fighting was largely due to the firmness with which the danger was met. When the citizens cheered with joy and relief, they knew that the Paris of Nazi rule had gone forever.